There we go. Good morning. How's everybody today?
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning,
Awesome.
Mike.
Good morning. Hey, it's I don't see her. There she is. She's coming on now. It's Michelle's birthday week. She's turning 56. I'll be sure to give her some
Woo-hoo.
shout outs.
Yeah,
I don't think she heard me.
that's okay.
It's
You can say
birthday
it.
week. It's hospital week. We got all kind of fun things going on.
It's Memorial Day weekend,
It's Memorial Day
correct?
weekend too.
Yes. So
Oh, check her out. I got her new setup. I
nice.
moved her up to the penthouse luxury suite now. Morning, Michelle.
Morning.
You like your new background?
Yes.
Yeah,
We'll
what
work
we've
on Zoom
learned
this
with these
weekend.
holiday weekends, most people have 4-day weekends this weekend, or 3-day, because they have Friday off. I sometimes forget about these holidays because we have the freedom to work for ourselves, and we don't have the boss is telling us that we have Memorial Day off, so it's not something we look forward to for the first half of the year. But I was talking to my brother yesterday. He's like, this is our first holiday of the whole year, so he was excited about Memorial Day. But what it tells me is that people are going to be home, and it's not an excuse not to call and not to work. It's actually a reason to call and to work, if you can, right? If you guys have plans with your family, that's obviously, do that. But if you're not doing that, it's a good time to get a hold of people. So I'm excited about that.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's a big piece of people. When you change into this kind of a business, it's like I have my staff remind me when school holidays and major holidays are because they have kids in school. And that's kind of how I know, when to to remember to give them time off. But it is the time that people are home. People are more relaxed. They're going into this weekend more relaxed. So this is also a perfect time as you're going through and you're going through leads and you go, oh man, some of these people, they're just so quick to just hang up, and that's because they were busy. Now they're looking forward to a good weekend, you know. And like Megan says, a lot of them are home and a little bit more relaxed. It may be a good time to smack them upside the head and say, you need some insurance.
Catch them. It's all about catching people on the right days. So I just wanted to say that because it was coming to my mind yesterday, and some people use that as an excuse. We're going to choose to use that as a reason. So, but good morning, everyone. It's a new week.
Well, Megan, I think what we found out over the last 15 years is a lot of people travel Memorial Day, but there's a lot of people that stay home. They're traveling to a place. So they're going to someone's house. And furthermore, you might actually meet a lot of the family members that are visiting and get more referrals. So that's another plus about the holiday.
Yep. Sure is.
So Megan, you want to light us up a little bit? I know that you kind of came up with the topic a little bit. I think we can all contribute in on it, but we have new people, we have people that've been around for a long time, and it's always the magic that goes from you sit with a client, you take an application, okay, that's the exciting part, right? But then you got to submit it, and then you got to do what's called pending and work through it and getting to the deposits, which I think is what everybody's actually looking for, right? The deposits, So what were some of your thoughts around that this morning, Megan?
Yeah. So we talk a lot about the psychology behind, like making the dials and talking to the clients and getting them from point A to point B, helping them identify like that need and the problem that they have. But it's also really important to not just be able to do that, but to be able to get business in and through, right? Because there's some people that can get business in, but they can have a hard time getting it through the carrier. And it's just a different process, right? And so dealing with the client is the psychology behind that is the most important thing. Like the psychology behind dialing leads, getting your mind right, being in the right frame of mind before you walk into the home, being there or calling them on the phone if we're doing one call closes or call to close if you're working telesales. Like that part, to be clear, is the most important part. If you can't figure that out, you can never get an app in, right? And so this next part doesn't matter as much. But once you start getting business in and you've got that first part figured out, it is crucial that you learn this next step so that you can get from submit to paid. Because like you said, that's what everybody wants. That's what we came here to do. We don't just want to submit applications and never get paid on it, right? We want to submit applications, get people approved, and get paid. So one of the main reasons why we ask you to call us in the home or to message on the 911 channel inside Slack whenever you have the client and have their financial picture page filled in with their height, weight, medications, smoker status, date of birth, hospitalization, surgeries, all those things. Once you have that, we want you to call us so that we can tell you which carrier is going to be the best route to go so that we can help speed up this next process, which is pending. Because if you submit business with the wrong product to the wrong carrier, it can get declined and listen, that stuff is still going to happen. Even when they give us all the information and we think we're putting them with the right company, or right product, sometimes there's going to be stuff that shows up on their background that we did not anticipate. Declines happen to us every week almost. Like if you're submitting enough business, it's going to happen. So don't be afraid of that stuff. It is going to happen, but we want to reduce that from happening, right? If we can. So you're brand new. We don't expect you to know all the underwriting and which carrier is best for which situations. And even when you're not new, like products change all the time. And so it's always good just to like bounce an idea off of another agent who may have been through that process recently or through that situation recently, or maybe they've never been through the situation. But sometimes it's just good to talk with another field underwriter, which is you and or agent, about the situation so that we can all kind of collaborate and make sure that we're putting people with the right carriers and products. So, pending. I know a lot of you have already started to work pending or are already working pending. Pending should be worked early morning and late evening, right? Unless you need to be calling the carriers, still you can do that early morning. The reason that we say that is because we want you to be working and making phone calls to potential clients and prospects during those working hours so we can catch people, right? So late in the evening, like after you're done making your phone calls, or early in the morning, like before you're making your phone calls. Main thing about pending is keep up with your emails. Some of the carriers send you emails. Some of the carriers do not send you emails with pending. But regardless, keep up with your emails. It's just an important, good practice. And so keep up with your emails. Next thing I would say is to check the carrier websites. If you've submitted an application with CFG, to work that pending, you're going to go log into CFG. You're going to have, if you don't already, you have logins with every single carrier that you're going to write business with. All of that starts in the ARC. So the ARC is your hub, right? But to get to the carrier pending website, if it's CFG, you'd go to Columbian Life Group, and then you'd go down to visit agent website. You'd log in, and that's how you check your pending. You go and you look at your client and you see the notes from the underwriter. That's one way to do that there. So emails, check carrier websites. A lot of times you can respond directly depending on the carrier, but a lot of times you can respond to the underwriting request via email directly back to the email they sent you. Read the email, it'll tell you if you can do that or not. Or you can call into the carrier, respond to the pending item. And what, like, maybe some of y'all are asking, what could a pending item be? Let's say that somebody takes medication for cholesterol, but you forgot to put it on the application and it's a term application, okay? If you forget to put a specific medication on a term application, so term life insurance application, the underwriter may ask you, hey, we see atorvastatin on this client's history. Can you clarify what they take it for? And you just say, oh yeah, they take it for cholesterol. So different things like that. Another thing could be, maybe they want to clarify the draft date. Maybe it was confusing the way you wrote it on the application. It's just the underwriter clarifying what's on the application and what they see on those reports that they pull when the application gets to the insurance company. So prescription history, medical information bureau, the MIB check, and driving record. Those are the three things that they see. So if they're going to be clarifying anything, it's going to be based off of what you put on the application and those three reports that they're looking at, right? So it's just clarification. That's all pending is. And a lot of times with e-applications now, it's going to avoid a lot of mess ups anyway. So a lot of times there's not going to be a lot of pending unless it's a more complicated case. But you can respond email, check carrier website, or call. Those are the three ways to work the pending. Okay. I'm one of those
Megan,
people. Go ahead.
I was just going to add, and at any given time, again, this is a brand new thing for everybody, a brand new environment, brand new system. There's lots of carries involved. Anytime you got a piece of business, until you get your own mojo, if you will, at the carrier, don't hesitate to reach out and call and ask questions. And also when you're answering questions, it's very important to be brief. Some people, we've seen have written books trying to explain something simple. I'm like, no. Just go short and simple. So if you go, this is easy, I can do it, good. If it's going like, I'm not sure how to answer that just pick up the phone and call somebody and we'll be happy to help you figure it out, because we've all had to do it. But that's when the work begins, is once you get the policy in. It's just making sure it goes through, and then it's fun as heck to see the paycheck come through.
And pending requirements are not a bad or a scary thing. It's just clarification. It's nothing to be concerned about. It's just clarification. And a lot of times, sometimes the pending requirement will help us identify, oh, that person's not going to qualify for this product. They didn't tell us about something. They forgot, so it's just clarification, nothing to be worried about. It's just a part of the process. So what you should anticipate for most carriers from the time you submit the application is about 3 to 5 business days for the underwriter to actually look at your application. Okay. It's different with every carrier, but I'm just going to tell you 3 to 5 business days so that your expectations can be right. If you're submitting your first piece of business, it's going to take a little bit longer than that. So if it's your first piece of business with that company, it's going to take a little bit longer because they need to run your background check first. So for your first app with every single new company that you write business with, anticipate a little bit longer. Unless, and that's the same across the board, regardless of which carrier it is. But with most companies, anticipate 3 to 5 business days. Oops, drop my pen. Unless you are working with carriers that are instant approval. What does that mean? We do have companies that do instant approval. Americo, CVS, CFG. So if you're like, I don't want to deal with 3 to 5 business days for pending requirements, you don't have to. You can write business with Americo, CVS, and CFG. Omaha does as well, if you're doing the EAPs. So yeah, those are the 4 companies that do the instant approval: Americo, CVS, CFG, Mutual of Omaha. What does instant approval mean? It just means that that client has actually signed the HIPAA form. That's a lot of times why, like with Mutual of Omaha and with Americo, there's a 2-part signature. First part is for HIPAA form. Second part is for the health questions, beneficiary, and banking info. The reason that they do that HIPAA form first is because it allows the system on the back end to go in and actually pull their prescription history while you're filling out the application. So at the end of the application, it is going to tell you whether or not that client is approved, declined, or needs to go to underwriting. It's pretty sweet. So if you're doing those carriers, the pending process is a lot quicker because you already have that either approval or pending status. Anybody have any questions from what we've gone over so far? Okay. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's just working the pending. The next step would be to follow up with the client. So as soon as you know whether it's approved, declined, and if it's declined, it doesn't mean you don't get the business. It just means you need to pivot to a different product. Okay. Doesn't mean you lose the business, just means you need to pivot. But you need to follow up with the client and discuss their options, clarify pending requirements, whatever that is, and then let them know that once they've been approved, hey, great news, your policy has officially been approved. Here's what you can expect now. And I normally just tell the client, let's say that they set their draft date for the 28th of every month and they got approved today. I would call the client and say, hey, great news. Your policy's officially been approved. So I just need you to expect that policy to come into the mail. If they did request it mail, sometimes they can request it electronically depending on the carrier. But you're going to be expecting the policy to come into the mail within the next 5 to 10 business days. Do me a favor. When you get it, please put it in a safe place and let your beneficiaries know where it is. Also, please give me a call once you've received the packet. That way I know you've for sure received it. And then we've set up your draft dates to happen on the 28th of every month. So you're going to see that first payment come out the 28th of this month, and we're going to see it come out the 28th of every month following. And I've already clarified all of this from the beginning when I was submitting the application, but I just re-clarify all of this so that there's no miscommunication and no confusion between me and the client. We call this, it's kind of like the policy delivery, right? We used to actually have to go and deliver the policies in person, but because everything's electronic these days, we can kind of just deliver it via phone. But that's kind of how the conversation initially happens. And then I'm going to tell them, I'm just going to set the stage from what's already happened, what's going to happen, and then what they can expect from me in the future. So after I say about their payment, when their payments are going to go through, I'll just let them know, hey, just so you can have some sort of expectation, every 6 months to a year, I'm going to follow up with you for just a quick annual review on your policy. So just expect to hear from me about every year, 6 months to a year. If you haven't saved me in your phone already, I'm going to send you my contact right now. And then I'll go ahead and text them my contact. And I'll say, can you put me on speakerphone, and go ahead and save that if you haven't already. That way I know that they're putting me in their phone. My contact says Megan Alleman, Yakey, your insurance lady in parentheses, so that they don't have to remember my name, but your insurance lady is going to be there so they remember what I'm associated with. At the end of that call, I'll just ask, hey, it's kind of your opportunity to ask for referrals, but she'll say, Are you happy with the plan we put in place for you? And were you happy with the service? And most of the time, they're going to tell you yes. All the time, they should tell you yes. And if they don't, then you know that you maybe need to pivot to something different, right? But if they're happy with the plan and they're happy with your service, it just gives you an opportunity to go ahead and ask, hey, would any of your family or any of your close friends need this type of plan in place for them too? You know, I get a lot of new requests every single week, just like you did, to reach out to our office. I get a lot of those every single week, but I really try to make my current customers a priority. So if your friends or your family need any help with this type of insurance, life insurance, retirement, cancer plans, anything like that, just know I'm here for you. That's what I'm here for you for. Okay. So was there anybody that you could think of, or, you know, that's kind of your opportunity to ask for that referral. And then from that point, the next expectation for you would be that you're going to get paid when the carrier gets paid. Okay. That's just a good rule of thumb. Now, there are some companies who actually advance you your commission before they get paid. But I just always feel like the expectation would be just go ahead and assume it's going to come to you once the carrier gets paid. So if my client that got approved today doesn't make their first payment until the 28th, I'm not going to get paid until after the 28th. The carrier gets their money first, obviously, right? Makes sense. But just know that there are some companies who advance commissions before they get paid. You'll learn them if you're writing them. There's just a few, but just anticipate to get paid once the carrier gets paid. And that's the process. Pretty simple. Anybody have any questions? Or maybe want to share a story, or maybe need help with a pending request or requirement that they have.
I was going to say, I am really happy for everybody that's new on the team that's been getting business through. Like, you know, Tiffany's got, both Tiffany and Sherry have got, and Serena have all gotten their policies, you know, issued. So that's an awesome thing. So, you know, for us, the biggest thing when we got started way back, you know, in 2007, it was, you know, can this go from talking to someone to money in our account? And once you see that and start realizing how it can, you know, and get comfortable with the process, it's just going out and working the fields. You know, it's just like, you know, growing a crop, you know, it's just growing money, and you're helping people, you know. It's a great thing. Anybody else got any stories or anything? Go ahead, Megan.
Well, I was just going to say that obviously we all want you to people measure their success differently, right? And some people are going to measure that by money, and some people are going to measure that just by progress. And I think that both should be measured because both matter. But I think that it's really important to just stay focused on the activity that gets you to the money. That progress in the middle from learning and then to earning the money, that's all good progress. You're learning things consistently all the way through, and all of that stuff is going to compound over time. But yeah, once you just get into your rhythm, like you said, what I was going to say was that it's just important to not let your emotions get too high when you have like a really good week, and not get too low when you have a really bad week, because at the end of the day, they all kind of average out anyway. And it's all going to work out. What I've learned is that literally your week can change in one day. Your week can change with one appointment. Your week can change with one referral that calls in. Like, your week can change dramatically and quickly if you keep this right and you keep your activity up, right? So that was always really encouraging to me. It's still really encouraging to me, because I too, sometimes I get in my head, sometimes I'm not happy with my week, but it's still encouraging to me to know that tomorrow the appointment that I have can change my entire week. Like, I'm not worried about it anymore because I just know that I'm going to go and work. So I'm going to put that activity in. So I just don't worry about it, right? Because it can change with one appointment. It can change with, today. You just got to go out there and talk to people. So that's an encouraging thing to me. I hope it's encouraging to you too. Any final thoughts? Anybody want to tell a story from the week or declare some goals that you have for this week? Now's your time. If not, it's okay. Okie dokie.
Next week.
Well,
So for next
that?
week, I'm gonna put some stuff out on the team channel. But one of the things that helped us, see a bigger vision when we got started was putting together a vision board. I'm gonna put some stuff out there. And I think this is a perfect time. We're heading into summertime. We're heading into really a pretty busy period for us, and to put that together and go, this is what I'm wanting, and this is what's and putting it in front of you on a day-to-day basis is huge. It was a huge impact for us back in the day. So I'm going to talk about that next week live from the hospital. But we'll be there. But I'm going to put some information out about how those things work and just encourage you to take a moment, just go, yeah, I think I want to put something like that together. Hey, Sherry.
Hey there.
You got your background
Good job,
going?
Megan.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, real quick. If you don't already have your tickets for Summer Slam, TFG Summer Slam, Dallas, Texas, July 13th, 14th, register. And I'm sure it's going to be posted today or tomorrow at some point for registration on the 411 channel. And then also transmittals are due today. So please, I will send all of you guys that email out. Just please get them to me before end of today. And look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow morning on the sales call.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you. Bye.
See y'all later. Have a wonderful day.
Have a great week.
You too.